Okay, hi guys, my name's Torema and this is my first YouTube video. I decided to do black and white just to make it different, basically. Anyway, so this is my first YouTube video and I don't know why I'm smiling, I just can't help it. Anyway, so basically I just wanted to talk about, I wanted to talk about body image and self-esteem basically. I'm a play lead in a primary school, and today a young girl said to another young girl that she's really skinny. So basically I teach dance in a school and they were on the stage practicing for their performance, and she said to one of the young girls that they're in year 5 or 6, and so that's like 9, 10, 11, and she said, "Oh, you're so skinny." And obviously that made the girl really upset, and she stopped dancing straight away, got off the stage, and I could see that she was really upset. And obviously I'd heard what she said, and not obviously, but for those of you that do know me, sorry for saying obviously so much, but for those of you that know me, self-esteem is something that I am really passionate about. So obviously when she came off the stage, I actually went straight to her and I called her over and I gave her a hug, and I was just trying to encourage her and just make her feel good about herself. And just because obviously when you're that age as well, everything feels much bigger than it actually is. But even as an older person, I'm 22, it still affects you, what people say about you, and that's something that takes time to overcome, but also is something that you need. That it's like, I don't think people genuinely ever get over it completely unless God does a complete work in you in order to feel that hole, that need for acceptance that we have. So basically that for me just made me, I was just thinking about it as I was just washing up, and what I came to realise is that the reason that, to say somebody's so skinny, so first of all, the reason that affected her was because she must have a perception that being skinny is a negative thing. Because if she didn't think it was a negative thing, then she wouldn't be upset. Because if somebody said to you, "Oh my gosh, you're so pretty," immediately you're going to be like, "Oh, thank you, thank you." But if they say to you, "Oh, you're fat or you're skinny," or in my case, people say, "Oh, your legs are so big," or "You're so muscly," whatever. I'm an athlete, for those of you that don't know, and I've always been naturally muscular. That's my natural tone. And obviously, as an athlete that trains 6 times a week, 5 times a week, 5 to 6 times a week, and gym 3 times a week, then obviously, my definition is more than a normal person. And I train hard, and whatever my coach gives me to do, I just do it without questioning. So, those basically when I just having my quiet time, just not like sitting down quietly just washing up, but having quiet time talking like with God, who I call Daddy or Abba. So if I say that and you don't know who I'm talking about God. I was just, what he showed me, what he caused me to realise is that the reason that you find that it affects you in the first place is because of what you believe to be a good thing or a negative thing. So if somebody says to you, you think, "Oh, you're so skinny," the reason it affected this girl is because her perception, her belief is that being skinny, I'm doing that because it looks like there's something on my lip. Her perception of being skinny is a bad thing. And what I've been asking God, okay, body image is something that is such a massive thing, especially we live in the United Kingdom, and media is such a massive thing, and the media are the ones who shape our belief system. And I've written a book called God is Real Love, Esteem, and one of the things that I start to draw attention to is the fact that we need to change our thinking. We need to start thinking the way God thinks about us, and love ourselves the way God loves us. So even with those things, the things that we believe to be good or bad at the moment are shaped by what the media say. And the only way that we're really going to change that is if we change our thinking and we truly believe what God says about us. With regards to bodies, every single person on this planet has a different body shape, different body type. Even though we class it, pear shape, apple shape, this and that, yeah, straight up and down, athletic, whatever, everyone has different. Even like 2 athletes don't have the same body, 2 models don't have the same body. And obviously we don't want it, need to aspire to a healthy image as well. So obviously people, if we're aspiring to be, basically if everyone is healthy in them, if everyone is healthy and is not overindulgent or under, undo, what's the word, malnutrition. I'm so bad, oh my gosh, has malnutrition, like is malnourished basically, then if you're a health individual, then you need to learn to start looking at your body the way that God sees you. He created you. He said that you're wonderfully and fearfully made, and when he made you, he said, you're this is good. He called you a good work. And obviously we live in a fallen world, so we might be born with maybe scars and stuff like that, and we might have accidents, stuff that disfigure us, and that's why our heart, our actual identity can't come from without. It has to come from within, and it has to come from obviously God within us, and God has to be our identity. And if we don't have that, then, and the only thing that we do hold on to is our image, then it's going to be even worse. But even for those of us who actually do have God as our source and as our identity, then it's this case of actually renewing our mind to start thinking the way that he thinks. And so yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. Like, even for myself, yesterday I had to get weighed, and I hate getting weighed because I've always just naturally been heavier than everyone else. And one time when I was younger, probably about 15 or 14, like a lady came, she was doing a test, and she came to weigh everyone. And then so she weighed everyone, and then she was like, oh, can I see her again, because I don't think her one's right, because my one was just heavier. And then so she called me back, and I went on the scales. She was like, huh? She looked at me, looked at the scales, looked at me, looked at the scales, and she couldn't understand why I was just heavier. But obviously I've just always been naturally muscular, so therefore I've just always been heavier than maybe somebody else who's the same size as me but doesn't have same muscles. Yeah, so it's just a case of us becoming, first of all, we have to know our source and get that affirmation from him. That whole affirmation has to come from him, and then obviously he works from the inside out. And also, when we change our focus point, so when our focus point, if your focus point is solely on your, the way you look, then you're gonna be you probably can't move more than 10 meters without seeing something that's gonna cause you to think less of yourself, basically. But your focus has to be basically on Christ. And then also, once you have that, it's like change your mind to start seeing the things the way he does, because even though you might be connected to the true vine again now, like, you're still going to be affected by what people say. People are still going to offend you and stuff like that. But it's a case of, if you change what you believe to be good, so if somebody now says to you you're skinny, you're like, okay, then I know that. Like, what's the big deal about being skinny? Like, there is nothing wrong with being skinny as long as you're a healthy individual. There's nothing wrong with being skinny. And as long as you're a healthy individual, there's nothing wrong with being muscular. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, as long as you're not, if you're skinny and then just like you have an eating disorder or something, then obviously there's things that you can do to help to change that and to help yourself. But there are different types of people. Like, two people can literally be fit and healthy, but one can still be bigger than the other. That's the thing. It's like, we don't have the same body type. We don't have the same body type. I firmly believe that obviously there's certain things that people might say to you that you can actually genuinely change. Like, if you maybe work on that part, or maybe you're lazy in a certain area, so therefore, if maybe you have a belly or something like that, and someone says to you, oh, you're fat, it's okay, maybe that is true, so therefore all I need to do is just maybe eat more healthily and exercise. It's not something that you can't change. You can't say, oh, God made me fat, kind of thing. Maybe you're a bigger individual, but it doesn't mean that just basically the fact is, if you're healthy, then there's nothing to be said. If there's nothing that you can actually change, then you should just learn to actually accept that. It's a good thing. Like, it's not wrong to be. You get people that are petite, you get people that are tall, you get people that are short, you get people that are what people say big boned, whatever. But that's just like, everyone has. I'll never be somebody that's skinny ever. Even if obviously now I train, I'll never be somebody that's skinny. So I'll never be somebody that's big either. So I'm just like an in-between size. But then obviously I have muscle, so that's something that that's my body type. And it's something that for so long I thought I found it a negative thing, but it's just a case of actually realising that, so what if I have muscles? Like, who actually said that it's bad? That's the thing. It's like, who actually said it's bad? And I don't know, if God didn't say it's bad, then it's not bad.